Welcome, everybody, to tonight's show. We are so excited. We have a special guest with us tonight, Victor Dedaj, and I love saying that name. I've been practicing it all afternoon. And he's going to tell us about living in New York City, living in the big city out there, as well as he has a book that came out last year, and then he's got another book coming out this year. This guy's a madman. With success and success principles and that. Without further ado, let's just bring him out. How you doing, Victor?
I'm doing fantastic, Dave. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. Why don't you just give a rundown of your history and all that good stuff and what led you to this point right now?
Oh, absolutely. I'm a lifelong New Yorker, born and raised in New York City. I love living there. A lot of great things to do. I worked in the corporate world for many, many years. I got let go about 5 years ago. And frankly, I was relieved when it happened because I felt like I was in a rut. And I've been interested in working as an entrepreneur for many years. So after I got let go, I took some time off just to recharge my batteries. And then I started working online. And it's been an interesting journey ever since. I've learned a lot over the last 5 years. And a lot of great people, and I've grown a lot. I've engaged a lot in personal development, and I love the entrepreneurial lifestyle. Being able to travel around the world, meet a lot of great, successful people, and I've accomplished quite a bit. As you mentioned, I wrote my own book, and I have another one coming out soon. So I've hosted several events, and I'm just loving life.
So let's take it one by one.
Sure.
So you have the book that came out last year, and that was semi-autobiography, semi about yourself, and it was about what led you to that decision and getting laid off and everything, or getting fired. Mm-hmm. Let's just say fired.
Yeah, I was fired.
I love it when they come in and they go, "We're going to downsize." So you're this half of the room, you're gone. That half of the room, you might be gone next week, but feel free to stick around and train some people. And yeah, we've kind of all experienced that from time to time. So tell us a little bit more about things are. Is there an earthquake in New York City that we didn't know about?
There's something that fell down my room. Sorry about that.
That's okay. So tell us about. Let's go by one. So tell us what you really felt with the downsizing.
Well, I was not surprised. I was expecting it. Companies going through some tough times, so it wasn't a total surprise. And honestly, I really wasn't too happy there at the end. I had a lot of great friends there, but I was getting a little tired of corporate. I'd done it for almost 2 decades, so I was not surprised. They gave me some severance. Got some unemployment. So, and I took some time off. So I was not surprised at all, and I felt this was a sign that I needed to do something new. And, because sometimes when you're in a job, you want to try something new, but you're also in the comfort zone. I didn't realize at the time, but I was in a comfort zone. I wanted to try something new, but at the same time, I was afraid to try something new. So this kind of forced me to get out of my comfort zone. And, once I was fired, it gave me the incentive to try something new.
Yeah. And it does. And psychologically, though, you're going through, prior to that, you said you were like, I'm not happy here. So it's kind of like the law of attraction is happening for you. Mm-hmm. It's like you're not happy there. You're dragging yourself to work. You have a boss that's micromanaging. That's it's never good enough. It's never fast enough. It's never, all those things. And then, so psychologically, you kind of go through that, and then you get fired, and you still kind of go through some of those steps of grieving, because you're, even though you had an idea of something maybe that you were going to go into, you still didn't have the definite path probably forged ahead. So how did you get through that?
Well, again, you're right. And I did go through a little stage of grieving because I've been there for so many years. So it was kind of hard saying goodbye to everything. And when you do get let go, even though it's for the best of you, but a part of you also wonders, it's kind of like you get dumped in a relationship. You kind of feel like, what did I do wrong? Was I a failure? So I went through some of that too. what helped me a lot was I also had very supportive friends, and they say, "Yeah, go try something new, and maybe this is probably the best thing for you." So I think taking some time off to reflect on what I wanted to do helped a lot. Like it's not like I got fired and then 2 days later I started becoming an entrepreneur. I also took some time off and
Yeah.
just to re-energize and think about things. Sometimes when you rush into something, it could be a mistake. But taking that time off and reflecting, over the course of several months, just reaffirmed this is what I wanted to do. Because, at the end, I felt like I wasn't being myself because when you're dealing with the core world, the culture there, sometimes you have to play a certain role. And you got to do things you don't want to do, act a certain way because you're afraid of getting into trouble or getting fired. Now, being an entrepreneur, I can act the way I want, and I'm not worried about someone firing me or someone getting angry at me. Whereas before, I'm like, if I said the wrong thing, it could be held against me. And sometimes we have higher ups that hold it against you, no matter what you do.
Right.
You're toast.
Yeah. Yeah. Even if you wear something different than they do, or all those different things. So you finally figure out what you want to get into. You want to start doing the next step, next phase of your life, and it was you chose to be the entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
So what made you? So did you have family that had their own businesses that were entrepreneurs before, or is it something new?
Well, in terms of my immediate family, no. I had a cousin who prepared income tax returns. It was just more. I'd read about some people, and they talked about how much fun it was being an entrepreneur. I went to some of these free seminars that people offered and become a successful entrepreneur, become successful in real estate. So that always piqued my interest. Sure. And so the problem was when I started, this is a brand new field. I had no idea what I was doing. So pretty much I, like most newbies, did everything wrong.
Yep.
Because I had no one to guide me. So like with everything, you need some sort of coach or mentor, just like you do if you're in the corporate world or you're in sports. Like LeBron James has a coach, Serena Williams has a coach. So, and if you want to work online, you really need to get some sort of coach. I didn't realize that at the time. First few months, I tried everything on my own, and needless to say, nothing went right. I made absolutely no money.
But you got to watch a lot of YouTube videos.
Oh, absolutely. I watched a lot of YouTube videos, learned a lot of things. But yeah, so it was, you learn by making mistakes. So that's something you got to understand. Sometimes you have to fail more often. When you fail more often, you will learn from your mistakes. If you never try, you're never going to learn. You won't make any mistakes, but you won't get anywhere. So it's good I made these mistakes because I learned what not to do. So then I can teach people, this is something you don't do. Avoid doing these things because it can get you into trouble. It's a waste of your time. And then later on, when I got some mentors, they say, yeah, Victor, don't do this. It's totally ineffective. But, I don't mind it. I learn from it. And then when I see other people doing it, like on social media, when they do stuff like spamming me their links without even saying hello to me, I don't yell at them. I try to explain why it's ineffective. And most of those people are appreciative of it because they don't know.
Right. And they're probably following what someone else either said or did, and they're probably following someone that isn't very successful.
Exactly, because the successful people will not tell them to do it.
They're talking about it, yeah. So then we move forward, and you start up, and so last year you wrote the book, right? And the name of the book was "You Can Be Successful," or "You Can Become
Successful." Yes.
Oh, there you go. Exactly, right there. You can become successful. So tell the people out there. I read it, but tell them what it's about.
Okay, so it's a book to encourage people that no matter where you come from, you can be successful. So I share a little bit about my background. So you mentioned part of it's a little bit autobiographical. So I think it's important in the book to share a little bit of who you are so people can understand you and relate to you. So I want people to relate to me first. So I share a little bit in the beginning. And then I share some of my experiences of working online where I did well, where I didn't go well. And I shared the things I've learned from either doing it myself or from watching other people. Because over the years, when I've gone to all these events, I met a lot of successful people. So I shared the things I've learned from them what I've learned from watching YouTube videos, modules, reading books. So everything that I've learned, I want to share with them and just make them realize if you follow these steps, you and are consistent with it. You know, you have to be consistent. You can't try this for 2 or 3 days and say it doesn't work. You got to do this over the course of many months. If you're consistent with this, you will get results. If you don't do it, you won't get results. So I just share some of the things me and other people have used to become successful in that book. And it's pretty straightforward. It's easy to follow and understand.
Yeah, it certainly is. It certainly is. And you give a lot of information in there. And then out of the book, which the book is available on Amazon.
Yes,
let's do that first.
Yeah, the book is available on Amazon. You can get the paperback on Amazon. You can also get the Kindle version. So whichever you prefer.
Nice. And so you have that on Amazon. And so then out of that, did do you call them seminars, workshops, the talks that you do? You set those up. Did that come out of the book, or was that separately?
No, I've done that separately. I've been invited to a bunch of events to speak. I've hosted my own events, so that's separate. I like talking. I like public speaking. I like to share my wisdom with other people. And I also share a lot of wisdom on my YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. And I believe that the more you serve, the more you help people, the more it'll come back and help you. So I recommend to all those people who want to become entrepreneurs, don't hoard it in. Don't be afraid to share your value with other people, because the more you share, the more it's going to come back to you. Trust me on that. And every successful person will tell you that. Yeah,
it's very true. It's very, very true. And just a quick point, if anyone has a question for Victor, you can certainly throw it in the comments, and we'll pop those up on the screen, and Victor can answer those. Or if you just want to say hi, feel free. So you did the speak, and do you do them as workshops? How do you do your events?
Well, my events, very often I have other speakers come as well. We teach on a number of different things, working online, marketing, affiliate marketing, e-commerce, and a whole bunch of different topics.
Okay.
And in addition to teaching people how to be successful, mindset, stuff like that. So in my events, I kind of try to give people several different things, because some people might like this and then other people might like that. So I try to give them a taste of several different fields. Mm-hmm. And I try to invite very successful people who are successful at what they do, and also are great speakers who are good teachers, because I want to give people the best in my events.
Yeah. And I'll bet you they do. Yeah. And these are mostly around the New York City area, right?
Actually, some people all over the country, like two of my mentors, they live out in California, so I've had them come to my events. They've flown out 3,000 miles. So I have people from all over the country, both New York, the Midwest, and from the West Coast. So, because, I try to support other people. I'll try to go to their events, and they're very great about coming to my events and supporting me as well. So,
yeah.
That's the great thing about social media. You can meet people from all over the world.
Oh, my gosh. Like everywhere. It's incredible. Yeah. And it's universal around the world. Everybody is very giving if you connect with those people.
Absolutely.
Sharing, and they want everybody to succeed. We do.
Mm-hmm.
So what else? So, you also have meetup groups that are in New York, right?
Oh, yeah. There's a whole bunch of meetup groups there, and there's public speaking groups there. There's Toastmasters groups. Yeah. And for those who want to learn how to speak, I recommend joining a Toastmasters group. They're great. They're all over the country, all over the world. And they're pretty cheap. It's like $50 for 6 months or something like that. So, okay. And and you meet a lot of great people there. So if you want to learn how to do public speaking, definitely join Toastmasters.
So you did that in New York City?
I'm actually in a Toastmaster group right now. I did it years ago, and I'm back in it. Yes, because again, I'm always looking how to improve myself. That's the other thing. You cannot get complacent. You always got, at the end of every year, you got to say, you look at what you did well, and then say, what do I need to do to go to the next level? Because everyone's competing against you. So if you stay stagnant, people are just going to surpass you. So I'm so I look, what do I need to do? Do I need to host more webinars? Do I need to do more personal development? What do I need to do extra? So I look at that every year. So you always have to be constantly growing.
Yeah. Yeah, you're either growing or you're dying.
Exactly.
There's no plateaus anywhere. I mean, it's just like a plant or anything. It's either growing or it's dying. And so you have to keep feeding. You got to keep feeding your brain as well as your body, as well, everything. Yeah, totally agree with you on that. So with the so you moved on from you do the speaking events. Tell me, well, let's plug Toastmasters a little bit. Let's do that first. So tell me about your Toastmasters.
Yeah, so
For someone that doesn't know and wants to become a speaker, that's a great way to get out there and learn.
Yeah, and Toastmasters, they're good because each week, each time you have a meeting, there'll be several people in the group that'll give some talks, and then you'll get a review by everyone. You'll get one person reviewing you. They'll say what you did well, what you didn't do well, and they'll also time you. So maybe your talk's like 6 minutes or 7 minutes, so they'll tell you if you went over or not, and then they'll tell you things that you try to avoid doing, like try not to say a lot or in certain words, because there's a tendency in all of us to do that, and I still do that. I have a tendency to say so that's something I'm trying to cut down on. But they teach you that, so you look at that and you practice it. And when you're a newbie, they'll have you first work on something called the iceberg, and then they'll have you do certain speeches out of a book they have, and then you graduate out of the book and you want. So it's you work at your own pace, so you don't have to get it done in like a month or two, So you just work on it, and also the other great thing is a lot of these groups, if you don't want to become a member, if you just want to come as a guest and observe, you can do it. So maybe you want to come 2 or 3 months, observe how the meetings are, and then maybe in 3 months you can decide if you want to join one of them or not. So you just go on their website, and they're usually very supportive. They'll teach you, they all have a certain format that they adhere to every single time. And it's a great way to learn. And if you're a shy person, it will definitely help you overcome your shyness because they're usually very supportive.
Nice. Yeah, and it's networking.
Exactly. And you'll meet a lot of great people from a lot of different backgrounds.
Yeah.
So it's
enlighten you about speaking and speaking gigs, and it'd be a great place to just meet people and network that way.
Absolutely. You'll meet a lot of great people from a lot of different backgrounds, and maybe you guys can help each other get gigs.
Yeah. And you do coaching also, right?
Yes. Yeah, just coach people who how to be successful online. So because I've been doing this for several years now, so I'm there to also help people because I know I needed a mentor, so I know people need mentors.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. So do you do that? You do it like I do it through Zoom and work that way. How do you usually coach people?
In a way, Zoom is, in terms of online, I like Zoom. If people prefer Skype, I'll do Skype, or I just get on the phone. I like talking on the phone with people, so I'm flexible. But in terms of online, I like Zoom.
Mm-hmm. My arm always gets tired if I hold my phone.
That's true. That's why I have these.
Take notes better. Yeah.
That's why when I'm on the phone, I use these earpieces because I get tired too. So when I talk on the phone, I walk around. Actually, the great thing about talking on the phone is I walk around when I talk to people on the phone. And exercise is very important if you want to be an entrepreneur. That's something Richard Branson said when they asked him, "What's the first thing you need to do to become a billionaire?" And he said, "Exercise." So it gives me good exercise when I'm on the phone with someone. So I'm productive because I walk around. I keep walking around when I'm talking to someone. So I'm getting my exercise while talking to them.
I would never know that from your videos. If you haven't seen Victor's videos, then go on Facebook, YouTube. I mean, I'm on both of them, right?
Yeah.
I haven't been into your YouTube channel yet, but your Facebook channel I've watched. But he does. What do you call walking with Victor, or what is that?
No, well, one thing I've learned.
It should have a title because that's what you do.
Yeah. When I do my Facebook live videos and I go outside, I go walking. And actually, they've done studies. When you're active in your videos, the more active you are, the more people like it. So if you're constantly staying stagnant, after a while, a lot of people go away from your video. So walking is a great way to remain active. So
how do you get your selfie stick to be steady, though?
That's
what I want to know.
Actually, when I'm walking, I usually don't use a selfie stick. I use I don't. I use my hand, believe it or not. So
my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
Yeah,
I figured it was a selfie stick or something that you had it on, but oh my gosh, your arms got to be super tired. You go for minutes talking on there.
Yeah, I'll go for like 3, 4, 5 minutes. Yeah, it's hard to do with a selfie stick. I use a selfie stick generally to take like a big group photo, but it's
Yeah.
hard to do that doing a Facebook Live. Walking around,
Especially when you're walking.
Yeah, so so I can't. So maybe that's something. Maybe I need a mentor to teach me how to do that.
Something, or you can just put it on like a GoPro or something that could come off of you or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you ever walk into anything? You're in New York City. Did you ever walk into someone or a pole or something while you're filming?
A couple of times I almost ran into people when I go into Manhattan, because Manhattan can get very crowded. I almost did, but
yeah,
I'm always looking around, because when you live in New York City, you learn to be careful when you walk, because it's so easy to bump into people, especially like during lunchtime, because it gets very crowded. Everyone's leaving work to go outside, so it can get very crowded during lunchtime or when they're heading home.
Yeah, I'm like, I'd be so focused on what I'm doing and looking at the screen that I'd be like, boom. I could just see that happening. I'm just a klutz. Yeah. So now we have, so you have the other book, we do the events, and you're continuing to do the events. You have other events planned for this year?
It was probably toward the end of the year. So I've had a lot of things going on. Because right now I have a whole bunch of programs going on. Then I'm joining. Like right now I'm in Jack Canfield's Train the Trainer program, I spent a week with him in California last month. I'm going to do another one in September, and then I have another event to go to for 3 days, and then I have 2 events. I have one of my mentors in Orlando in July, and one with another mentor in August. So it's going to be really hard for me to host any events. So I'm looking more probably toward the end of the year for my next one.
Year to do that. Sure. So let's talk about Train the Trainer.
Yeah.
That's a 5-day, pretty intense.
Yeah, Train the Trainer is intense. It's a 2-week program. He also does an online program where you can get certified online, but that's part of it. But to be fully certified in the Canfield methodology by Jack Canfield, you got to spend 2 weeks, 2 weeks a year. So you spend 1 week earlier in the year and then one later on the year. And it's very intense. They go over everything there. And there's also like 2-3 nights. We have an extra couple hours. So they want to make sure you fully understand everything they're teaching you. And then in between the 2 meetings, we have a bunch of things we need to do. We have to do a 1-hour webinar, a half-day presentation, a Come As You Will Be party, and we have to be in mastermind groups every 2 weeks. We also have to have an accountability partner. And that's something I highly recommend. In addition to getting a mentor, get yourself an accountability partner. This is a person who you talk to. You can do it every day or once or twice a week. Yeah. They hold you accountable. So if you're not doing the things you're supposed to, they won't hear an excuse. They'll say, make sure you do it next time. So it's good to have someone to keep you accountable. Just like you work a regular 9-to-5 job, your boss holds you accountable. Because if you don't do what you do, you get into trouble. So accountability partner is something I highly recommend. You want to be successful, and mastermind groups. Mastermind groups. And you have 5 or 6 different people, all giving different perspectives, all helping each other out, all very supportive of each other. So I really enjoy our mastermind group. We just had our session today, and I got some great advice from them, and I shared some with them. So it was a great session.
Yeah. Most definitely, and like anything, as far as mastermind groups go. If for some reason it's not working for you, keep looking, keep putting things, and be honest within those mastermind groups. Hopefully everybody that's watching is in one, but keep looking and keep forming until you get the perfect blend. Sometimes it's like, boom, out of the gate, you got a great blend of people, but then sometimes as people grow, because we're always growing, and so some might outgrow the other ones, and you want to keep, working at it. So it's like keep pushing towards getting that perfection in that mastermind group.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if it's not working for you, find another one. And you can. There are 7 billion people in this world.
Yeah.
So just keep
accountability partner. Let's go there. So how do you use the accountability? Because I've tried it several different ways. Email doesn't work for me. So how do you do accountability?
5-minute call every day. I talk to my
so
partner.
it's this way.
On the phone. Don't speak for an hour. Maybe the first couple of times you're trying to get to know each other, but keep it as short as possible. Yeah. No more than 5 to 10 minutes. Say, are you doing this? What did you do? Did you complete everything? And then that's it. And then say, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Just keep it short. Don't accept any excuses because it's very easy to make excuses. Excuses will get you nowhere. And one thing Jack teaches is you need to take 100% responsibility for your life. So don't make excuses. You can make results or you can make excuses. Excuses will get you nowhere.
Most definitely. Yeah. You can't, and you don't allow them to make excuses too. Exactly. I mean, that's the first thing that I go through with my accountability partner is that it's, we're going to be 100% honest. I'm not here to make you feel guilty. I will be here for you to make you feel great, but I'm not going to make you feel guilty or anything. It's like, so don't worry about that. Let's just be honest with each other.
Exactly. You're honest, and knowing that you have someone to account to the next time you talk to them, you're going to make sure you get your things done. It's incredible. When you don't have that accountability partner, it's like, I can wait till next week. It's like, it's just something in there that has a tendency in a lot of people to procrastinate, but when you have to be accountable to someone, you make sure it gets done.
The world is designed right now to make us procrastinate. If you go on YouTube is designed to keep you going, keep you watching the next one. That's why automatically it starts the next video. It goes into next, and so pretty soon you're just like, oh my gosh, I just wasted 2 hours of my day going through YouTube videos. Oh yeah, so it's made for that. So we almost have to combat it.
Yeah, exactly. And when I wrote about that in my book, You Can Become Successful, that one of the biggest killers of success is procrastination, because we procrastinate a lot of things, and then what happens is a lot of these unfinished tasks build up over the course of time, and then they become a big psychological burden. And when you have like 10 or 15 unfinished tasks, you get up and then you say, what should I do? You feel paralyzed because you don't know which one to try, because there's so many that it can be very overwhelming. So that's why it's important not to procrastinate. Get things done as soon as possible. And I would say do the most important tasks first, because when you get them out of the way, everything else becomes easier. Most people tend to do the opposite. They wait for the biggest one to tackle last, and then it just overwhelms them later. So
they keep putting it on the shelf, and it's like they do the little ones. Oh, I feel so productive because I did all these little things, insignificant things, and most definitely.
Yeah, don't major in the minors. Major in the majors. Focus on the things that will get you the results.
Yeah. Kill that elephant.
Exactly. And also, if you have a big task, you can just chunk it down into smaller tasks. Like you mentioned, you gotta kill that elephant. You know the saying, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Yeah.
So you don't have to eat the whole elephant at once. You can just break it out to smaller tasks and do that task. Like if you're writing a 30-chapter book, you don't have to write all 30 chapters at once. You can write one chapter a week.
Right. Oh, that's a good point. So let's go back to your book. That throws us right back into your book. So when you started writing your book, did you go, okay, I have to write a book that's whatever, 70,000 words, or I don't know how long yours is, but did you sit there and go, okay, I'm going to write? How did you do it?
I try to write at least a few pages a week, like 4 or 5 pages.
Okay.
And over the course of several months, and I try to be as consistent as possible with it. And then I went over it, and and it's a good learning experience. Obviously, I learned a lot from this experience. And here's the thing: whether you want to write a book or get a product out, just get it out. Because, for example, a lot of people want to write a book, but they don't get around to doing it. Just get the book out, and if you want to make improvements, you can always come out with a second edition. Like version 1.0 will always be better than version 2.0, because imperfect action will always be perfect in action. You can't. A lot of people want everything to be perfect, but if you keep waiting and waiting, nothing will get done. Like Jack says, 20 finished books are much better than 50 unfinished books, because you get those books out, you can inspire people, you can make a difference in their lives. So if you want to get something out, whether it's a book or an online course, get it out, because you can change someone's life.
Yep. And you can do it. It's just a matter of taking the time every day to write a little bit, or whatever it is. You just section it off and you go, and it gets easier and easier as you do it.
Exactly, with everything. It's just getting out of your comfort zone. And anything you try the first time is going to feel very uncomfortable. It's like the way you hold your hands, all right? If you switch the thumbs, when you switch, it's going to feel uncomfortable the first time. But after about 10 or 15 seconds, it won't feel as uncomfortable. You will get used to it. So with anything, when you start writing a book, it's going to feel uncomfortable. You're going to get scared. But as you keep writing and writing, it's going to get more and more comfortable.
Yeah.
Or it's like when you learn how to ride a bike. The first time you try, you get scared, but after a while, you become an expert at it, and you never forget.
Well, and after a while, the false experiences appearing real go away.
Exactly. Because it's like Susan Jeffers writes in the name of her book: "Feel the fear and do it anyway." It's okay to have fear. Yeah. Just feel it, but take action. Action is one of the best ways to overcome fear. Just take action.
Yeah. Well, it's a good percentage of fear is just all imagined.
It is. Yeah.
There's good fear out there, because if a rattlesnake came and sat down right next to me, I'd be like, okay, I need to slink away, or I need to do, some fear is good. A big grizzly bear comes out of the woods.
Exactly.
Yeah. But other than that, most of it is just inside our heads. It's just between our ears of imagining something that's really not there.
Yeah, and if you look at your life experiences, probably 90% of the things you feared never came to be.
Never.
You think if you don't do well on this exam in high school, your life is ruined. You took the exam, no matter what happened, you moved on with your life. Or if this girl rejects you for a date, your life was ruined. No, even if she said no, you moved on.
Right.
And most fears are imagined. In fact, we're only born with two fears: the fear of falling and the fear of loud noise. All of the fears are created by us. Yeah. And if you look back, you will realize it's more realistic to not be fearful. Like you said, there are some cases like you run into a bear or a rattlesnake, say, yeah, you should get away. But in general, most things that you fear do not come to pass. And if you take action on most of them, you will overcome. And that brings in taking action is a very important thing I write about in my book, because I use the example that Jack Canfield uses. How one time he was hosting a seminar and he was holding a $100 bill. And he says, who will like this $100 bill? And a whole bunch of people saying, yeah, I do. Give it to me. And all he did was he kept holding it, and he didn't say anything. Then finally one woman gets up from her seat, runs up, and takes the $100 bill from his hand and sits down $100 richer. And then he asked, what did this woman do that no one else did? And he said she took action.
Yeah.
Why didn't any of you take action? Then he had a whole bunch of answers, such as, well, I didn't think it was real. I don't want to seem needy. I didn't think he would give it to me. I was afraid of what the other people think. Other people needed it more than me, and a whole bunch of other excuses. And then Jack said, see, these excuses which you're using now, those are the same excuses you use not to take action.
Exactly. You got to admire the people that dive in the deep end of the pool.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
They're trying.
Exactly.
And you can get in there and maybe go, oops, wait, I don't know how to swim. And you'll probably make it out some way. Mm-hmm. Most people.
Yeah. And hopefully you have a lifeguard there too.
Exactly. So it's like you got to admire the people that take action every day, whether you're going to, and when I had my retail store a long time ago, same thing. My motto, my philosophy that grew out of that first entrepreneur, we didn't call it entrepreneurs back then. That was just you're a business owner,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Now we got these nice French terms. Mm-hmm. I am an entrepreneur. Makes it sound very sexy. But you back then, it's like I just told my employees too. I don't care if you make a different decision than I would, or take a different action than I would. Just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just do what you think is best at that moment in time, and if you're either going to learn from it or you're going to succeed from it. So one of the two, and it doesn't matter as long as you take action.
Yeah, and that's a great attitude to have as a boss, because I can tell you in the corporate world, not all companies have that attitude. Right. There are many environments where employees are afraid to make a mistake, so they're afraid to do anything. But if they're encouraged to try, and even if they make a mistake, they learn from it and figure out how to make things better, it's going to be a much more productive environment. But unfortunately, some environments are not like that. So if you have an environment where you're allowed to make a mistake and get better at it, it's going to be a much better environment.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh, yeah. Because that's where you're going to get innovation.
Absolutely. There was a book on how to become a billionaire. billion-dollar companies. And it's funny, a lot of these guys who became successful billionaires, they were in companies that didn't let them experiment, and either they quit or got let go. They were fired, and they left big companies like Merrill Lynch and some of these other ones. And then when they went on their own, then they were able to experiment on their own, and they were much more innovative than they were when they worked in those companies because they weren't allowed to be innovative there.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you imagine Amazon?
Mm-hmm.
Tesla? I mean, all these companies that are now really just taking over. That's because they allowed that. They allowed the creativity to be there because they knew that they would flourish faster.
Apple, yeah.
Yeah, Apple.
All those companies, they allow their people to be innovative and imaginative, and they come up with incredible ideas. When it's just groupthink, after a while, you just get into a rut.
Right. If your boss walks around saying that they're always right and you're wrong, no one can always be right.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you have, let's go into the forward thinking. So we have your second phase, your second week of Train the Trainer coming up in fall, but around the same time, you got something else coming out.
Yeah, so during the summer, Jack Canfield has a book coming out called Success Breakthrough. So I'm going to be one of the co-authors. I'm going to have a chapter in that book. And it's really excited to do that with Jack. He's one of my mentors, and he's a great guy to work with. He's one of the best teachers out there. And I also recommend, if you've never read this book, The Success Principles, buy it. If you want to become successful, that's another great book to buy. And so this book will be coming out. I'm writing a chapter called Take 100% Responsibility for Your Life, which is actually Jack's first success principle, because everything else flows from it. Because once you start taking responsibility, that's when things change. If you blame everyone else, if you never take any kind of responsibility, you're not going to go anywhere. So start taking responsibility, because he has an equation there called E plus R equals O, which means event plus response equals your outcome. So very often we have the same event, but people have different responses, and based on the response, they'll have a different outcome. So for example, two people are stuck in the same traffic jam. One person's angry, yelling, cursing because they're going to be late for work. Another person's relaxed. They have the music on. They're drinking their coffee, and because they have everything they need, and they have a different response. So the outcome is different. One person's happy because they chose to respond differently than the other person did. Mm-hmm. So your response very often will determine your outcome. So it's not just the event; it's also your response. Once you understand that and you implement it, your life can change.
Oh, most definitely. Just think of your relationships.
Mm-hmm.
If you're the one that because communication, a conversation, you only can control 100% of 50% of that conversation.
Exactly.
Of how you are going to react or have, back and forth. I posted this, I think, on in one of the groups this week, was about how your reaction is back and forth as far as in a conversation. You're only taking, you only can have responsibility for 50% of that. And it was amazing how many people just were like raring on that one. They were just like high-fiving around it, because it's such a realization when you just focus on yourself and listening, and not listening to like have a retort, or not listening to respond in a negative. Because like you said before, like with your boss, if you had a conversation with your boss and they're always thinking about how they can either reprimand you or tell you how to do something different. And we all have some of those people that have been in our lives throughout the years, of how they may always be negative, always tell you you're wrong. And then we like push them out of our lives if you're smart, because you're not going to get any farther. You're not going to be able to grow that way. And it's really going to impede how you are. And you're going to impede them, because you're either going to jump on the bandwagon with them and have that banter back and forth and not really have a conversation and learn anything, or you're going to, go the opposite way, get them out of your life, and you're going to have probably a more positive life. And another little tidbit as far as taking 100% responsibility for your life and your decisions, it raises when you start doing that, you see such a shift in your vibration, with the law of attraction and all those good things. But it's like that your vibration changes, because then you're not concerned about, did I lie? Did I have to bring yourself, when you have to succumb to someone else and you can't be yourself, we kind of crouch down. Our body posture is different. Everything's different. But when you're able to you say, hey, I made that decision, wasn't the best one, but I learned from it. Or, hey, I made that decision and look what happened. You stand up better. Your vibration is higher, and then you attract all that good stuff into your life. Yeah. So it just starts that way.
Yeah, absolutely. When you take responsibility, just things seems to work out. But even if you could say maybe in certain instances, like maybe an earthquake or something, it's not really your responsibility. If you act like it, things tend to fall into place. You can say law of attraction comes into place. People want to be around you. They want to work with you. They're more attracted to you because they're not afraid to come on to you. You're not complaining about things. You're not going to criticize them for everything. You're going to realize, man, I take responsibility for everything. And you're right, because you're going to be a lot less negative about things. And when you're very negative, people are not going to be around you, and you're not going to attract that success. And it's interesting. Some teams, they can have a really good player, like say in basketball, but if he's very negative, they'll train him for two players who are not as good, but they'll play better as a team because there's a more positive atmosphere. They play together as a team. So it's actually addition by subtraction. Even though they're getting rid of a really talented player, they're playing better because of the attitude he has. Yeah. These people are taking responsibility. They're like, okay, I'll do this, I'll do that. But it's very easy to fall into that trap of blaming everyone, because it goes back to the Garden of Eden. Adam blamed Eve, Eve blamed the serpent, and it's been going on ever since. People just in general don't want to take responsibility, but when you do, things just tend to work better. Like you said, your posture is much better, and you're more productive. You tend to get things done, and you just you react better to things. You'll find a way out of it, because when you're always blaming, you can't find a solution. When you take responsibility, you say, I'm responsible for what happens. I'm going to find a solution. Yeah. You're going to have a much better attitude. Yeah. You're going to get more things done, and you will find the solutions to your problems.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a good point, because most people are they're separated in two categories. There's a lot of different categories, but there's two main categories. You either plague on the problem or you find the solution right away. And I tend to be like, here's the issue, and here's the solution. Or I have A, B, and C as solutions. I can either go do this, this, or this. And that's how my brain works. But not everybody works that way. A lot of people are more, they plague on the problem, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, and now I'll try to find a solution. So I think you're onto something there. If you start taking responsibility for every decision that you make, you start to see solutions faster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's what you focus on expands. If you just focus on the bad things, the negative things, the problems, you only see problems. Yeah, that's all you're going to check. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. But when you change your point of view, you change your paradigm, and you're going to see different things. You're going to see opportunities. You're going to see solutions because you're changing your focus. Which is why it's important to surround yourself with positive and successful people, because as Jim Rohn says, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So you surround yourself with very negative people, it's going to be very, very hard to have a positive life. It's going to be close and positive. So you got to be careful who you choose to surround yourself with.
Yeah. Focus on the checks coming in the mail, not the bills.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you got to figure out what change your focus. It's incredible, because your mind is so powerful. That's like one of the most important things with success is your mindset. And this is something a lot of people do not give enough credit to. You just want to learn the technical stuff, which is important. But if your mindset's messed up, if it's not properly set up for success, even if you get the money, you will lose it. That's why most lottery winners are broke within 5 years of winning the lottery, because their mindset is not set up correctly. And that's why successful millionaires and billionaires, even when they lose it, they get the money back because they have that $1 million mindset. So mindset is extremely important.
They focus on making money.
Mm-hmm.
That's their focus. It's not on how they can spend the money. That's with lottery winners, like you said there. I mean, as soon as they get it, they're focused on how can I spend my money.
Exactly.
And so it goes out real quickly. You get second and third cousins that come out of the woodwork.
Yeah. So that's why, yeah, for those out there, I highly stress work on your mindset. It's the most important thing. Get the mindset right, then everything else will fall into place. Then focus on the technical stuff of your business, because that's also important. You need to take action on it, but first you got to get the proper mindset down first. Take care of that, and then take care of the technical, the activities, taking action. Do this second.
Do you have a morning routine?
Yeah, in the morning, I'd say my affirmations, try to focus on things I'm grateful for. I do some visualization and some meditation. Visualization is very important because a lot of people don't know that your mind cannot really tell the difference between real and imagined events. So if you want to imagine a better lifestyle, you can visualize it and practice it every single day. And the thing is, it becomes a habit. So if you do something for like several weeks, like a month, it'll become more ingrained in you. And after a while, if you're imagining something you don't have, there's going to be a tension in your subconscious mind. So after a while, your subconscious mind is going to work to make that a reality. So like the armed forces understand this. They know like you got to do something for at least a month. That's why boot camps usually like 4 or 5 weeks, because they know they want to change a habit. They have to do it consistently over a month. If you just do it for a week, that habit will die down. And we are creatures of habit. Probably 90% of the things we do is habit. If you look at what you do every single morning, you get up on the same side of the bed. You put
That's
on
what
your
most
pants.
people's habits are based around, right there.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. You hit it right in the head.
Yeah.
You look at the phone, and you do the exact same thing. And you put on your pants the same way. It's either the right leg first or the left leg first, and then the socks. It's everything's done the same way. You shower.
Great exercise for that with your phone is move the app.
Yes, exactly.
Move your apps move them around from where they were at, and it's like all of a sudden you're like, you're tapping on, and you're like, oh, that's not what I wanted. That's not where Facebook was. That's not where YouTube was. That's we have those bad habits of that.
Yeah. And also, it's good things to do in the morning is to review your goals, because the subconscious mind, again, which I talked about, is so powerful. Review your goals. How you start your morning and how you end your day are the two most important times of the day, because your subconscious mind is most impressionable both in the morning and at the end of the day. So in the morning, don't turn on the news, because all you're going to hear are wars, terrorist attacks, murders, arson, robbery. You're not going to hear anything positive in the news. So, do something positive, read a good book, pray, or some of the things I mentioned I do, and listen to something inspirational. Same thing before you go to bed. Review your goals, read something inspirational, listen to something inspirational right before you go to bed. Because think about it this way. Have you ever watched a scary movie right before you go to bed and had nightmares? It's because your subconscious mind will play that part 6 times more than the rest of the day. But that's also why cramming for an exam can sometimes be effective, because you're doing it right before you go to bed. So what you do right before you go to bed is extremely important. So do something positive.
Yeah, most definitely. There's paraliminals. If you're having problems with it, you can do the paraliminals. You can buy those and put a headset on, do that before you go to sleep. Meditation, deprogramming that way. Yeah, most definitely. That's the key to all of that. In the morning, like you said, because you wake up and you're just a fresh slate. You don't have all the little things bombarding at you from all day. And I love getting up at 4 a.m. 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning is the best. There's just not as much negative energy out there from the cars and from the radios and the cell phones and those are all in the way. Those waves are all in the air. So if you can do your meditation and your visualization and that right away in the morning, that's perfect. That's perfect.
And if you're going to do visualization meditation, it's really better to do it in the morning, because if you say I'm going to do it later in the afternoon, life gets in the way, things happen, and you'll find out before you know it, it's the end of the day, you're going to sleep and you don't do it. So really, if you're going to do visualization meditation, try to do it the earlier in the day, the better. And a lot of things, it's better to do, because as we're doing things throughout the day, after a certain point, you get less productive. So it's better. The earlier in the day is the best time to do many of your tasks. And also drink lots of water throughout the day. Keep yourself properly hydrated. And when you wake up in the morning, definitely drink your water, because you've been sleeping for 7 or 8 hours. You're dehydrated. So instead of having a cup of coffee, which I used to do. I'm a recovering coffeeholic. I drink my water when I get up, and I have steady energy throughout the day now. Because when you have coffee, you crash in an hour and a half or two, and you need to get some more. When you have water, you don't crash.
Yeah.
Because your body's like 70 to 75% water.
And a glass of ice water before you go to bed and a glass of ice water when you get up in the morning will prevent heart attacks.
I did not know that. Wow.
I didn't know that either until I had a heart valve replaced in 2011, and that was like one of the little tidbits. Wow. I didn't have a heart attack or anything, but they're just because you go for a therapy and the therapists are used to heart patients, and they just start telling you this stuff.
Wow, good to know.
Yeah, but sometimes it's hard if you drink that glass of water, that ice water, right away in the morning, and you have to run to the bathroom. It's like, ooh, that's not a good trigger for you. Or maybe that's just me. I don't know, but yeah. So as we're kind of closing up here, or coming to a close, let's put it that way. Tidbits. Let's talk about. So for an up and coming, because we're broadcasting out to creating successful coaches too. For someone that's up and coming in the coaching world, what would be a couple of tidbits that you would save them time and money on?
You mean like people who want to become successful in general?
Yeah.
Number one, again, get yourself a mentor. It's going to save you. Invest the money. It's going to save you a lot of heartache. It's going to save you a lot of years of trouble. You can learn everything you need to know on the internet, but it'll take you like 15, 20 years. Save yourself a lot of time. Get the mentor. Invest in yourself. Because psychologically, here's the other thing. Like if you invest in a stock, it means you think the stock is worth it. If you don't invest in it, it's because you probably think it's not worth it. So psychologically, if you're not willing to invest in yourself, you're subconsciously saying, I'm not worth investing in. So that's another thing to come up. But get yourself a mentor, invest in it. Be consistent. Consistency is very important. Don't show up once or twice a week and then take off for 4 days. You got to be consistent every single day over a prolonged period of time. Be persistent. Don't give up. Don't give up 3 feet from the goal. A lot of times people give up right before they're about to hit that success. So be persistent. Work on your mindset. Build a foundation. Like personal development is very important. You got to build that proper foundation. And don't worry if you don't get immediate results, because if you're building that foundation, you will eventually get those results. Because like if a house has a good foundation, it's going to withstand all those storms. But if it has a shaky foundation, a storm will blow it down. So if you have a good, solid foundation, if you have that personal development, you learn from your mentors. And so for example, you join a company that goes under, you can go to another company because of your foundation, your personal development. You can take your talents elsewhere. If you don't develop yourself and your company goes down, you're in big trouble. So that's why it's important to develop yourself. Focus on your progress, not on perfection. Everyone wants to, hit $1 million in 2 months. But it's like, it's the person you become in the process that's important, because once you develop yourself over the course of 1, 2, 3 years, you're going to attract a lot of people. Opportunities are going to come your way, and people want to work with you because they know you have value to provide to them. So really focus on that. Very often, because of the society we're in, we want instant gratification, but you really need to just be patient and realize if you're consistent, you will eventually get the results, because you cannot do the right thing over a prolonged period of time and not get results. So the results will come. Just be patient with yourself. And just ask people, see what other people do. Model other people. Success leaves clues, as Tony Robbins says. So see what other people do. Like when I hosted my events, my first couple of events, I learned from some of the other events I went to. I saw what the other hosts did, and I picked what I like. I said, I want to do this. I want to do this. So this is how they do it here. So I learned from watching other people. So see what other people do, whether it's at events, reading in books, YouTube videos, etc. Model other people, because don't try to reinvent the wheel. Tweak it a little, but just see what other people have done. So it'll make it a lot easier for you. So you don't have to go crazy trying to do everything. Just learn from what other people have done.
Yeah, learn the methods.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I agree with the mentor or coach. Hire a coach. You'll get there faster, and you probably will spend less money. I mean, the national average is 4% of people that buy a course finish it. So 96% of the people out there buy a course and don't finish it.
Yeah.
So the odds are against you really fully absorbing a course. And the courses, if you took a how to do or how to be on Facebook course right now, it's going to be obsolete 3 months from now.
Yeah.
The algorithm changes and things change and video goes up or goes down or this goes up. And so, I mean, if you talk to somebody from last year that probably took a course about how to be successful on Facebook, it's all different now. Yeah, so absolutely. If they did exactly what they were told, they're doing nothing right now. So exactly. Yeah, so things change like that. But with the courses, hire a coach.
Yeah.
You'll get there and you will spend less money. The big picture, in the long run, you will spend less money than you will on all these other courses that you didn't get anything from.
Exactly. And your coach can give you tidbits that you won't get from any course. It might be something he heard from someone last week and he'll say, hey, just do that. It's incredible. Little tidbits can help you out. So that's why coach is important. That's why going to events is important. Not just meeting the people, but you'll get tidbits going to that event just from having conversations with people there that you won't get from watching a live stream on the internet.
Yeah.
So that's very important. And one last – so
go ahead.
I just want to say, and again, write down your goals. It's very important. When you write something down, you review it, it sinks into your subconscious more. People who write down their goals are 1,100% more likely to act on it than people who don't write them down. So write them down and review them regularly.
Yeah. And if you have a memory like mine, you need to write them down anyway.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll forget.
Yeah. Well, as Mark Victor Hansa says, when you think it, ink it.
Yep.
Because we all tend to forget. We'll say, yeah, I'll remember to write down because I will forget sometimes too. So I come with a good idea. I'll write it down. If I don't have a pen and paper, I'll just make a note on my phone. So this way I remember it later. It's because you forget that idea. It could be something that can make you money.
Yeah, I agree totally. Let's hit them with every place that they can find you. So you got your website. I'm popping that up there right now.
VictorDedaj.com. Yep.
Nice website too.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And if they want to message me, they can message me on Facebook, or they can also contact me at victordedaj@victordedaj.org.
You're one step ahead of me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. And
I like to take action. I'm very proactive.
I couldn't copy and paste it fast enough. Oh, well, it's been a pleasure talking with you.
Yeah, it's been great being with you. Thanks for having me on, Dave. And I had a great time here. And thanks for having me. And thank you all for watching us tonight. Appreciate you all joining us.
And much success.
Thank you. Same to you, my friend.
Let us know how you're doing after train. Well, throughout the summer.
Absolutely, I will. We have
stuff. Let us know when the launch dates are for that, and then we can help you out on that one too.
Oh yeah, definitely will. Thank you so much, Dave. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, have a good night, everybody. We'll see you later.
Have a good night.
We have. Bye-bye. Oh, I should say real quick, we have Kathleen Seeley next week, so come on back next Wednesday night for Kathleen Seeley. That's going to be awesome.
Kathleen's awesome.
Yep. Have a good night.
Have a good night, everyone.